Traffic might be up, but clicks are actually down. You've probably noticed this, right? Your impressions are rising, but fewer people are actually visiting your site. That's because AI-generated summaries, overviews, and answer boxes that we're all seeing at the very top of search engine results are eating up all of that traffic. And honestly, this is not going to go away. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 different AI SEO trends that I think are going to be shaping the near future. I'm going to talk about why they matter and, most importantly, what you can actually do to make them work for your content. I'm not going to give you vague advice. We're going to get into specifics, examples, and real strategies that I've implemented on my own sites. And by the end, you'll know exactly how to structure your content and your blog posts so that AI and humans both find them useful and irresistible. All right, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. So first up, let's talk about the obvious one, which is AI-generated answer boxes. You've probably seen them, those little summaries that Google pulls from a page and puts right at the top of search results. They are appearing on a huge share of queries now, and the growth is only accelerating. And the crazy part actually is that while they still clicks away from you, they actually also increase the quality of the traffic that does come through because, those people that are actually landing on your site are genuinely interested and they're not just browsing for the sake of browsing. So what do we do about this? Well, you have to start, if you haven't done so, you really need to start structuring your content to be easily quotable. That means clear, concise answers, ideally 40 to 60 words max, with supporting bullets or examples right after. So, you really want to imagine your content being fed into AI. If it's clear, if it's structured, and if it's digestible, that AI is far more likely to pull it. A practical move that I'm actually implementing myself is going through a few of my top performing posts and just asking myself, okay, if AI were summarizing this, what sentence would it take? And then I'm making sure that, that exact sentence exists near the top and, I just make sure it's easy to understand. I then add bullet points underneath to just break it down and, just give a small example, or I try to quantify it. Basically, you want to give AI something to lift and you want to give, humans something to scan quickly. Now, let's talk about long tail questions, because queries with 8 words or more are 7 times more likely to trigger AI overviews. That means that, if you're still just focusing on 1 or 2 main keywords, you're going to miss out on a ton of visibility. Google and AI are favoring specific compound questions, things like, how to optimize your WordPress site for AI-generated snippets instead of just WordPress SEO. The trick here at the end of the day is to make sure you're building content that answers these compound questions fully. Like, each post should cover who the content is for, the context they're in, and the outcome they're after. You want each H2 to be a real question, and then, the first few sentences under it should give a solid, scannable answer. The practical move here, I would say, is to take one of your existing posts and just map out all the possible variations of long tail queries it could potentially answer. And for each, add a dedicated section with a clear question as the H2 heading, and then answer it in just 2 to 3 sentences and follow with supporting bullet points. Essentially, you're turning one post into a mini question cluster that satisfies both humans and AI. I get it. Look, it's gonna take time. We have to admit that people are just not reading anymore. They're skimming, and it's sad, but it's just the truth. And here's the kicker. AI doesn't really read either in the way we read. It scans. If your key points are not immediately obvious, both human visitors skimming and AI scanning might just pass over your content entirely. And the solution here is to lead with the answer. Every section should start with a bold, concise takeaway, and then follow it with 2 to 3 bullets. It's sad. I'm saying these words and I'm, internally processing the fact of just how sad it is that we can no longer read anymore. But, like I was saying, you want to follow your content, that bold introductory short paragraph text with 2 to 3 bullets, examples, many visuals to support the point, and the details can come afterward. But the skimmer and AI, already has what it needs to understand inside you. So just try doing this. Pick a section of a post and rewrite it so the first sentence or two give and provide the full answer. And then just add bullets underneath that show examples, that, list benefits or statistics or, just pros and cons, and then keep the original detail for those who want to dive deeper into the actual piece of content. You're designing the page for dual consumption. So just remember, you want to design your content for both humans and AI bots scanning the text simultaneously. I get it. Like I said earlier, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's always been the case for the past 10 years or so that building mobile-friendly content was mandatory, but it really is hugely dominant these days. It's the way AI evaluates content as well. About 80% of queries are now mobile, which means that if your page is not optimized for mobile, both your users and AI are just going to skip over it. A cramped, slow-loading page above the fold is just basically invisible. So here's how you want to handle that. You want to make sure that you're fitting all of the most relevant information above the fold. Your hero section, the primary answer of the query that your content piece is tackling, and your main call to action should all be above the fold. You want to make sure they're visible immediately upon page load. And then of course images need to be small but also informative. If your page is long, make sure that you add jump links so users can skip straight to the answer they're actually looking for. And this applies to both blog posts and skyscraper pages. To put it into a visual picture, just think of it as designing a mini landing page inside every post. Your mobile view becomes the AI's first impression and the user's first impression. And if you get that right, the traffic you do get is going to be higher quality, and people who see value immediately and are going to be more likely to engage with your content or potentially even convert. Next, we got to talk about originality. I was struggling with this one for a while because it is true that we don't have a whole lot of information about can copycats that aren't really copycats, meaning if you humanize your AI generated content, can you actually get it to rank? I've seen instances where it ranks really well, and I've also seen a lot of examples where content pieces that lack originality are going to, essentially fail to position high up on search queries. So, just remember that if your content just repeats what's already out there, which used to be also the case when AI was not even here, AI is not going to care, and humans are probably not going to care either. So you do need unique insights. You want data from your own experiments. You want screenshots that you've actually taken yourself, case studies that you might be able to introduce in your content pieces, just anything that shows your content is fresh, that it's actually yours and that it's, actions that you've taken yourself. So here's what I would probably do. Pick one post per month and add a piece of original insight. That could be a small finding. It could be your own A/B test result that you've conducted with Thrive Optimize, or a micro case study, just, anything that can make your page stand out for AI and users. I'm not trying to have you reinvent the wheel here. It's just about being intentional with with your authority at the end of the day, because it is your name that's being put behind the content piece that's being published. Speaking of authority, people don't just trust AI answers blindly. Sometimes they don't, but oftentimes they check. They oftentimes check YouTube, they check Reddit, they check other forums. Embedding proof in your content actually makes a huge difference. And that could just be a simple screenshot of a user's success story, or a short demo video can increase clicks dramatically because it serves as authority. So try including small, verifiable proof points in your posts. If you have a video showing a real example, embed it. If someone's left a testimonial, screenshot it or embed it in video format. Even just adding a quote from a forum discussion or from a Facebook group shows AI and humans that your content is grounded in reality. Now, we do know on this has been proven that AI favors content it can trust. And so if you don't show who the author behind a content piece is, or their credentials, or when the content piece was last updated, your content might never be cited. And at least that's the reality in 2025 and probably going to be for 2026 as well. So a practical move here is to make your authorship and methodology clear. Like, make sure you add in an author box to all of your content boxes with credentials. Make sure you include the date of publication and the date in which you last updated the piece of content. If you have any data sources, don't be afraid of listing them. Like, think of that as, as building a reputation inside your content. It's not going to be flashy, but it massively increases AI citations and human trust simultaneously as well. Now, because AI is filtering casual visitors, the clicks you do get to your site are going to be of visitors that are genuinely interested, right? We were mentioning that earlier. And that's actually good news because it's easier to convert them if you're ready, which goes to say that you kind of want to start treating each blog post like a landing page as well, because if you don't have a call to action or a lead magnet that is immediately visible and that is aligned with the question that you're actually answering, you're potentially missing out on conversions. For example, if someone is reading a post about setting up long tail SEO, the opt-in should be right there, offering a checklist or offering a guide or an ebook or something like that. You don't want them to just scroll or search for the next step. Like, give it to them right away. Have it in the sidebar, clearly visible. Google is continuing to loop queries into its own ecosystem, which means casual traffic is shrinking. But the people who do click are serious buyers or readers. We've made that clear now. And that changes how you want to potentially structure your content as well. And so the idea here is actually not too complicated. You want to make your top section, your above the fold section, actionable. Even if someone doesn't scroll all the way down, you want to make sure they still get the key takeaways and that they can engage with your content immediately. And so this means that you can include things like sticky call to actions, you can include FAQ tables, you can include comparison charts, and so forth and so on. The last thing that I want to talk about is how brand signals and existing rankings still drive AI citations, okay? AI tends to pick content that's already been established, and so if your site ranks in the top 10 for a topic, it's probably going to be far more likely to be quoted by AI. So focus on building recognition as well. Come up with interviews, come up with roundups, contribute with guest contributions, or, have people mention you on other reputable sites. You want to keep your top posts updated and authoritative, like we've already talked about. And look, it's not just about having a bunch of volume going out, it's about being known and being trusted in your niche. The truth is, it doesn't really matter if the New York Times follows any of these 10 tips that we've spoken about in this video, because they're still the New York Times. People trust the New York Times because it's a reputable brand. And so AI is also going to trust that as well. Before we wrap up, I think I just want to give you like the big picture overview, which is that you don't want to be chasing clicks anymore, but rather you want to structure your content so AI cites it and then capture the high intent traffic, people that you're still getting through clicks. How do you do this? Again, with all of the things that we've spoken about, you want to be leading with answers. You want to optimize for mobile. You want to prove expertise, and you want to sprinkle in proof or examples as well. So here's a little bit of homework for you if you're up for it. Just take one post, rewrite the top answer in 50 words or less, add supporting bullet points, include mini proof points, and put a clear action or call to action right at the top of your page, above the fold where it's clearly visible. If you do that consistently, you're going to see measurable results over time. Anyways, hopefully you found this video useful and helpful. I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions or comments, just drop them in the comment section. Appreciate it again. Thanks.